Welcome to the first interview for Team Takeover. My name is Ross, founder of Takeover Storts, and today I am here with the cornerback coach and passing game coordinator for Texas Southern University, Coach Darren Garrigan. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing good, man. Just kind of ripping and running, through the summer with, kids got workouts and just recruiting, typical college stuff that everybody does, I guess you can say. But doing all right, man.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm glad to hear that. Speaking of that, I was going to ask you how camps are starting to go because I know you've been going around to some of these camps and
Yeah, I mean,
scouting some of
I've
these
been going
kids
to,
out here.
I've been going to a lot of camps. I went to the U of H camp on the first. Then, SMU, TCU does this big mega camps where they get a lot of kids. We went there. We just got back
Mm-hmm.
from North Texas camp. So I guess this is the time where everybody's hitting those camps up, and then we'll have our own in late July. So it's just that part of the time in recruiting where, we got guys doing visits and people want to see each other in camp. So, it's just that time of the year.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Any advice for any of the recruits? Because I know a lot of recruits kind of follow you, and then they try to reach out to you and stuff like that. So anything you
I
can tell
think
them?
I think my main advice for people is just is really find out what you want to get out of recruiting. I think a lot of people just want to get recruited to post it on Twitter, which means nothing at the end of the day. So they just got to get, what do they want to get out of that? You want to be able to see the environment, see the school, where it's located at, what the coach is like, kind of in the downtime. So I think there's a lot you can get from the summertime. But my main advice is just get the information that you need to, that you must have, instead of don't just go there and not ask questions. But I think there's a lot into recruiting, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of fluff into it. There's a lot of
Right.
BS, to be honest. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%, 100% agree. So before we start talking about next season for Southern Texas, I kind of want to go back and talk about your playing career because I know you played at West Texas A&M from
hmm
'05 to '09.
hmm
What kind of made the decision to, when you finished playing, to jump into coaching, and then what traits do you kind of think helped take you from
Well,
playing to coaching so seamless?
yeah, it probably shows up online as '05 to '09, but I played in '05, '06, and then
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was a good enough football player, and then I wasn't. I played arena ball for 2 years in Alabama, but I went back to
Mm-hmm.
school in '09 to get my degree, actually. So it might
Okay.
show up on the books as '05 to '09, but nah, just '05 to '06. At the end of the day, I think I just got in, kind of got into coaching just based on, again, I wasn't that good of a player, even though I thought I was, but just kind of the couple of coaches that I have, they influenced me. I think everybody gets in this profession at the end of the day because they've been influenced by somebody. And I think Nick Saban said it a long time ago. I think the coaches have the most impact on kids. He touched the most lives, is what I would say, impact wise. So I just had some people in my corner that I enjoyed, I liked. They kind of helped me out, mentor me, and I kind of just jumped into it. And, I've been loving it ever since I started as a high school coach for 2 years. So just kind of come from that, but I don't have like one of those trees where I just come from coaching and down all that line. So everything's just kind
Right.
of, can't say self-made because people help me, but it just kind of got into it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I was about to say, well, look, 9 total championships, I can say you're fairly
A
successful, you know. It's a
little bit,
very
I guess I
successful
try.
run. Yeah.
So
So, talking about a little bit last year, um, not the greatest season, I want to say, 5 wins total, but
hmm
for the corners, 16 interceptions. As a team, 16 picks. That's correct?
yeah, I don't
Which
know the
led the SWAC.
exact number. I want to say it was like 17, maybe 19, but we were number one in the SWAC, and I
Okay.
think we ended up when the regular season ended in the country. It was like top two, top three. I've been blessed to being part of some defenses that have been top in the league in turnovers for over like 10 years now, or maybe 10 years straight, been one of the top ones. But as far as what we did and when we got come back, I think it's good and a lot actually. But our corner room was really good. One of them had a chance to make it to the next level. He hasn't got picked up yet, but I think he's going to end up being in the XFL. And the other one actually
Okay.
jumped in the portal and actually went to a Power Five school. So we got some talent here. We got some talent coming back. We brought some talent in. But we take pride in turnovers, and how it is nowadays with defense. I mean, at the end of the day, everybody's going to get yards, but it's all about the points per game, and then it's about how many turnovers you can get on third down too. And And we won 5 games last year. Should have won about 7 or 8. We had some injuries and didn't play too well down the stretch, so we didn't finish as well. But they
Yeah.
haven't won over 5 games here, or at least 5 games, in I want to say over 10 years. So it was an improvement from the year before. I think the year before I got here, they might have won 3 games or something like that, and we won 5. So I think this could, I can't say be our big year. You never want to go that cocky and that much into it, but I do think we have a chance to win more games if everything goes right.
Yeah. I was going to ask you what kind of was that next building block step, because I always say it's a building
Yeah.
season. So,
Mm-hmm.
build the foundation and
I
keep
think
drawing up from there.
I think the foundation's there. I think everything is laid down. I just think we have to continue to, whatever they say, the saying is like, you got to keep on building bricks or keep putting
Hmm.
together. But I think the foundation is there. I think if everybody stays healthy and play up to our, talent, play up to what we can play, then I think we'll have success. But we do got a chance to compete very highly in the SWAC, and I think that's the number one goal, at least first. So I do think we have a better chance this year compared to last year, just because of the familiarity, bring everybody back. We don't even really have a lot of seniors this year. We didn't lose a lot last year, so I do think the arrow is pointing up. And I think that's all you can ask for as a coach and to your players and just as a team in general, just arrow going up.
Yeah, always good to go in an upward direction. So
Mm-hmm.
you talked about transfer portal. Uh, I did some research. So Isaiah Hamilton, who was first team All
Yep.
SWAC, he transferred to
Mm-hmm.
Houston. I didn't find the dude that left, but
Mm-hmm.
the one that's trying to go pro in the XFL. Good
Yeah,
luck
it's
to him. I really hope it
Raheem
goes
Fuller.
well. Raheem
Yeah,
Fuller. Okay.
it's Raheem
I really
Fuller.
hope it goes well
Mm-hmm.
for him. But I saw you did bring back a Xavier player from UTSA
Yeah,
corner.
so I recruited player. Yep, I recruited player back when I was in Carter Word back in 2019. So I had
Okay.
a long history with him recruiting, and then he left. He came out of Oklahoma State out of high school, left to go to Oklahoma
Mm,
State, and then he left to go to a junior college. And then I recruited him out of junior college. Then he goes to UTSA, and then when he jumped in the portal at UTSA, I recruited him again. So I recruited the kid about 3 different times. Know the family really well, so I think it's one of those deals where when you recruit kids in the portal, you want to have a little bit of history with them, and we had history with Xavier Player. And I think he's going to come in and be just fine. I think he'll fit in just well.
yeah. I was gonna ask you, who did you kind of think would step up into that role that those two left? Because it's kind of hard to replace them, but it's easier to kind of build around it. You know what I'm
Yeah, I
saying?
think, and I told the guys in the room a couple of days ago, I think we have a lot of players. As far as the production, I think we'll be fine on the production. It's just going to look different. It's going to be different. We might just have different ways to get there. We got a lot of, like, all the corners that are coming back maybe didn't play as much last year. They had some injuries, but Ja'Cory Benjamin's been here for a long time. He was a highly recruited player years ago. He has
Hmm.
talent just as much as anybody else that I've seen. Then we got A.J. Bennett, who played receiver last year. He's going to play a little DB, and he's
Okay.
really athletic. And we got, Monty Harris. He's from San Antonio, so he knows player already. I think Harris didn't play that much last year. He's a young player. He'll come in and provide a lot for us. Xavier Player, we already talked about. And then you got Trey Goins, who's a special team guru. He'll be in the mix. And then we signed a really good high school player. It's MJ Neal from Channelview, same school that Jalen Hurts went to, and stuff like that. So we have a lot of players that I think will replace the production. It's just going to look different compared to what the two guys did last year. And I think as a whole secondary in general, is going to look the same. It's just going to be a different. They're just going to get there different ways. But I think the production, what we coach, is still going to try to be there. To be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, new players, but always want to keep that good production.
Mm-hmm.
Aim number one for the SWAC again in interceptions with.
Yep. That's the plan.
Hey, that's the goal. That's the goal. So, team wise, I know the goal for the DBs again
Mm-hmm.
lead the SWAC interceptions. But are you guys shooting for a title in the SWAC, or what are we
Yeah,
looking at here?
if we would have won the last game last year versus A&M, we would have been in the SWAC championship. So I do think you always want to take care of your side first. Was the West Side for us, and then I think once we handle that business, we can go on to the SWAC championship, which I do think we have the capability to. The talent's not the issue. It's just
Hmm.
can everybody come together, stay healthy, and just believe in the vision. But and I've been doing this quite a bit, and I would say this team is just as talented as all the other teams I've coached. It's just all about, like I've been kind of saying earlier, just staying healthy, and I think we'll be just fine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, knock on wood for health. I don't have
Yeah,
any
who you
wood to
telling?
knock on, but there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Knock on some wood for some health, man. Last question. I appreciate you doing this for me real fast, but last real question for any recruits, because I know we talked about the recruiting process, but
Yep.
what characters or characteristics, build or anything like that do you want to find in a corner?
You know what? I mean, overall, I think in a recruit, especially DB, I think at the end of the day, whatever level you're at, you have to be talented. So I think when you go to recruit somebody, I think, you already see the talent. So I think talent's kind of easy. It's not that hard to evaluate. I think the
Hmm.
thing that's hard to evaluate is a kid's want to. How much does he love the game? Can he communicate at a high level? How is he when he's having a bad day? How is he when he's having a great day? I think there's a lot of things in recruiting that we miss as coaches. It's just always about strictly talent, 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 talent. But there's so much more than that. Can you pick up information quickly? Can you process it? Can you apply it to the field? Can you apply it to the classroom? So I think at the end of the day, how are you when you're at your worst? I mean, I'll kind of flip it. Everybody's great when things are going amazing, but how are you when your things are not going well? Like I tell the freshmen or just any transfers that come in, like, how do you act when you do bad on a test and you got beat over the top and you had a bad practice and you got some family problems? Like, how are you gonna respond to that? You gonna bounce back even better, or you just gonna sit back and take it and get worse? So I think at the end of the day, talent's not the it's not the hardest thing to evaluate. That's easy. I think it's all the other factors that come into it, and that's why I enjoy kind of going one on one with a kid with his family right there. Even in the schools, I think it's important. And I think a lot of people miss that in recruiting because they're always worried about the height, weight, and speed. But
Right.
I think at this level, FCS, I mean, even G5, I mean, there's just now 5 stars walking all over the place. That's why high school coaches in Texas do a great job because sometimes you have to do more with less, but you also have to do more with finding different ways how to do it. Like, again, like we talked about last year, we were number one in the conference in interceptions. This year, our plans to be the same way. It's just going to look different. We'll get there in a different way, in a different light with different players. So I think that's important. But I do love the aspect of recruiting as far as finding what the individual's about, um, everything besides the talent. Because again, I don't think this is that hard. I think we overrated a little bit, but you
Yeah.
do have to have some talent. But generically, like we talked about, once you play, you got some talent. So
Hmm. Yeah. Well, hey, I appreciate you hopping on real fast for me. Hopefully we can talk again soon, maybe mid-season
yeah, I'll
ish.
be around.
Little
Well,
little
hopefully
progress
yeah,
update, see how
follow,
everything goes. I'm
yes,
sorry, can you say
definitely
that again?
follow. Yeah, I said just
Absolutely.
follow up because it's going to be the first game we open up with PV. That's a rivalry game. Most rivalry games are later on in the season, but this one's open right out the gate. And
Hey,
I
that's
and
one to
you
watch.
already know Dion, and you already know Dion already spread the light on swag. So I think it's going to be important. A lot of eyeballs are going to be on us.
Yeah, that's a major game to watch. So hey, best of luck this season. Everybody stay healthy, happy, and I
No
hope
doubt.
you guys reach your goals. And I appreciate you hopping on, man.
No man, I appreciate it, brother.